everyone, and welcome back to another video. So I have two books that I want to review slash talk about today. The first one is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. And then the second one is A Monsoon Rising by Thea Guanson. This is the second book in the Hurricane Wars series. And I believe it's a trilogy, and the third one comes out, I think, sometime next year, at least from what I have looked up so far. So, which I really need it to come out sooner, but we'll get there. Let's talk about A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. This was my first Ava Reed novel. I have another one of hers on my shelf, and I just really enjoyed this. Her writing was great. It had beautiful descriptions, wonderful, like, not, I wouldn't say whimsical writing, but like, she used metaphors and descriptions very well. And they were easy to understand. So like, that's like, for me, my big thing. If an author is going to write in a beautiful way, for me personally, I need to understand it, because if it's beautiful, but yet I'm not understanding like what's going on in the story, like it's too, I don't want to sound like I couldn't understand something that's very complex, because I read very complex works as well. But just sometimes I want the writing to be straightforward. But straightforward writing can be beautiful as well. And I think Ava Reed does a very good job in this. So basically, this is about a young girl she's at university. She's in the architecture school, because that is the only school that allows women. She wants to be in the literary college, but women are not allowed in, even though she got a high score on her entrance exam to where she could be placed anywhere. Well, something traumatic happened to her early on in her studies. And so she's fighting that all through the book. But then there's also something traumatic that we find out later on in the book of what happened to her when she was a child. So she's not only dealing with her recent trauma, but also a past trauma. And at the beginning of the book, you see that there is a contest for this late author's home. This late author just passed, and his surviving son wants to update the house. So he really wants someone to draw blueprints and have an architectural idea of how to update the house. So she wins this competition, and she gets approval to go down to the southern part of the country and spend about 6 weeks for this project. Well, when she goes down there, she meets another student from her university that's in the literature college, and they start out a little rough. He's also originally from the country up north, where her country and his country are kind of in a war. You don't hear a lot about the war during it, so I'm curious on if maybe it's like a Cold War right now going on between the both countries. But this guy, he's part Argantian and part Illyrian, I'm pronouncing that wrong. I need to look it in here. Lyrian maybe, because his mother is Lyrian, but his father is Argantian. So they don't hit it off right off the bat. But this is not only a story about facing your trauma, but also like a romance as well. And it's a beautiful romance. I really did enjoy reading this. And it's got a nice fantastical background as well. So if you haven't read this yet, I really suggest you read it. The second one actually comes out this year, and I don't know if I have it pre-ordered yet or not. I'm going to, but I'm very excited to read since this is a duology, read the second part of it. So I will be reading more by Ava Reed. I really enjoyed her writing, and this story was just fantastic. So if you haven't picked it up yet, you need to. Then the next book I want to talk about is A Monsoon Rising. So this is the second one in the Hurricane Wars. So in this review, this one's gonna have some spoilers in it, just because for me it's really hard to do a review on a second book without having a little bit of spoilers. So this is a spoiler section for you. So if you haven't read the first one yet, go read the first one. You won't be disappointed. I thought it was very, very good. I just wished in the first one the romance was a little bit better, which that's what I got in this second one. The romance was way better. So basically this is a fantasy romance, but it does a very good job of balancing plot and romance, which is what I like. And you have enemies to lovers in this one. So basically in the last book, at the end of it, the two main characters, Alaric and Taliesin, they got married. It's a political marriage, and so they're married in this book. They start to like come around to each other a little bit. Like, obviously we know that Alaric likes her and Taliesin likes Alaric, but they've been enemies for so long, because his country is taking over another country on the continent, and she thinks that Alaric's father is wanting to take over the country that she is now pretty much the heir of. So she's trying to help her comrades on the continent in their rebellion, because they're hiding out in her islands. Alaric does not know this. But basically in this one, it's trying, the main plot of it is to save the world, because the eclipse is coming and it's gonna be upon them soon, and if they can't stop the eclipse, the entire world is going to basically be destroyed. But through all that, they end up getting more and more connected. So finally they have their moment, and then moments after that and whatever, and I'm excited. I was excited about that finally. But like, Taliesin wants to do anything and everything she can to save Alaric, even though she knows that when Alaric finds out that she's going to betray him, that Alaric will want nothing to do with her. So I have a feeling in the third book that that's not gonna happen. Like, she's gonna end up not betraying Alaric, and something's gonna happen, because it's a third book now. they have at the end, there's something that, and I won't ruin it at the end part, but there's something that happens in the end that is talked about by Alaric's dad in the beginning of this. So Alaric's dad wants to do this to Taliesin, but it turns out somebody else did. So now it's like, who is this person, like, part of his original plan, or is this separate, or what is it? So not sure what's going on. That's why I need the third book. But I think this author does a great job with the world, and the culture aspect of both that you see. So like, you don't get to see the culture very much of Alaric's, other than it's mainly military. It's a main military culture for sure, where Taliesin, her country, is very easygoing, but yet at the same, and beautiful fashion, but at the same time, a lot of people are willing to backstab you for political gain. So you have that. So you have to be kind of like strategic in your politics. And you don't really see a whole lot of the political scheming in this book. I think you see it a little bit more in the last one. This one, the political scheming is at the end, because this person, I had no idea that this person was going to do what they did to Taliesin. So I'm intrigued to find out why. But I also have a feeling that, like, Taliesin and Alaric, they're obviously in love with each other. So Alaric is going to do anything and everything to save Taliesin. And I think he's finally going to get out from underneath his father's clutches, which will be good. So we'll see. That's my prediction. But this was very, very good. Writing wasn't anywhere, like, wasn't whimsical or beautiful in the way that A Study in Drowning was. This one was very straightforward, but the writing was still great. Like, I have no qualms with the writing at all. Love the world building, love the character development, love the little climax at the end, and jaw-dropping, like, what the heck, didn't see that coming. So this one I personally think was better than the first one. So I'm intrigued to see what the third one will be like, because I want to finish the series. I'm excited to do that. So there you have it, guys. Those are two books that I've recently read, and my reviews on both of those. Let me know if you've read them and what you like about them, or if you didn't like them. Also, let me know if you haven't read them and if you're planning on picking them up. I would love to know. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and be good people.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you